The Burning is such a fantastic slasher movie, and it's one of those movies that I've seen 1,000 times, but somehow always manage to forget how good it actually is, until I watch it again. Do you know what I mean? Like, I love the movie, I've seen it to death, but it's almost like watching it for the first time every time you go back and watch it again. Maybe because it's such a rich slasher film that there's just so much content to mine from it, so whenever you watch it, you sort of find something new? I mean, that's gotta be it, right? I feel like Sleepaway Camp is the same way. I've seen that movie countless times as well, and I cherish it in the same way I cherish The Burning. But somehow, in some way, it always feels like I'm watching it for the first time when I return to it for another viewing. There's just so much to see and absorb and take from it that I think you just find something new with every watch. Isn't that weird? I feel like the same can't be said with a lot of slasher movies, especially with, for example, the early entries of the franchise The Burning and Sleepaway Camp are the most inspired by, whether inspired directly or indirectly, and that's my favorite horror franchise of all time, the Friday the 13th franchise. The early films of that series, that is. Part 1, Part 2, and to a lesser extent, Part 3. I've seen those films a million trillion gazillion times, but with each viewing session of those films, I don't feel like I'm seeing anything new or watching something fresh. I truly feel like I've excavated the depths of those films exhaustively. Not that that's a bad thing, but it is a peculiar thing when compared to The Burning or Sleepaway Camp, where those movie-watching experiences still produce the opposite effect. Perhaps it's because I've just seen those first few Friday films too many times, and Sleepaway Camp and The Burning less times in comparison, but it's amazing to me nonetheless how different the viewing experiences are between those two films and the aforementioned F-13 entries. Both The Burning and Sleepaway Camp are excellent slasher flicks, and perfect for summertime movie nights, with kills and effects that not only rival those first 3 Friday the 13th films, but sometimes exceed them, which feels a little sacrilegious to say out loud considering how much I love the F-13 franchise. But the truth is the truth, am I right? With that said, Friday the 13th 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 all still produce that feeling for me when I watch them, as if I'm seeing them for the first time, and I've seen those entries more than any other horror film in existence, besides, perhaps, the original Return of the Living Dead. So that shows how well those films hold up today, and how much content there is to revel in within those films, which definitely says something.